tornadoes. They are deadly. You about need to be below ground level to survive.
It's crossing. It's going through Newcastle right now. Still a very, very large tornado. It's crossing.
Folks, we plead with you, just go to your safe spot if you possibly can. That's an F. Look at the horizontal vortex. That is an F4 to an F5 tornado. That's winds of 250.
May 3rd, 1999, started off as an underwhelming weather day with temperatures in the 60s and overcast clouds blanketing the skies. While many went about their day not expecting much from the weather, members of the National Weather Service in Norman were closely looking at the incoming data. Originally only issuing a slight risk for the morning hours, it was soon changed to a moderate risk, then finally to a high risk, as the environment in central Oklahoma became extremely unstable. The CAPE, or convective available potential energy, a term that defines the amount of energy being held in the atmosphere, read near 5,000 joules per kilogram. For reference, tornadoes only require upwards of 1,000 joules per kilogram to have a chance of developing in thunderstorms. With the atmosphere now primed and ready for severe storms, several research teams converged in Midwest Oklahoma to witness and document what was about to unfold. By 5 p.m., the first supercell of the day began producing tornadoes. It first dropped 2 small funnels, both rated F0. Then shortly after, an F3 to the northeast of Lawton. The tornado would lift and then drop down again. This time, however, it was much stronger. The vortex swept across mostly empty farmland as it tracked closer to the town of Chickasha. Now it was hitting homes and even at one point producing a satellite tornado. The twister reached its last target, the Chickasha Municipal Airport. It caused severe damage to several aircraft hangars and then dissipated. It was clear by this point to chasers and news crews that this storm was unpredictable and seemed to be intensifying with each tornado it put down. But no one knew how powerful the next one would be. As the cloud reached down to the ground, it immediately formed into a wedge, resulting in F2 damage. The swirling mass of cloud and red Oklahoma dirt moved northeast, paralleling I-44. News crews from KFOR began chasing behind the twister, updating the station of its position. The tornado, now gaining strength, started causing ground scouring. This is a phenomenon where grass and chunks of dirt are torn from the earth, leaving a visible trail behind the vortex. Many pre-manufactured homes were obliterated here as the now half-mile wide wedge approached the outskirts of Bridge Creek, a small community which consists mainly of more pre-manufactured homes without basements.
Tornado warning for Cleveland and McLean counties until 7:30 p.m. Central Daylight Time. At 6:40, a confirmed large and extremely dangerous tornado was located near Interstate 44 west of Newcastle, moving northeast at 40 miles per hour. This tornado is expected to be near Newcastle, Moore, South Oklahoma City Metro. This is a very dangerous storm. Act quickly. If you are in the path of this tornado, move to a shelter below ground if available. Otherwise, go to a small interior room on the lowest floor possible. Avoid windows. Abandon cars and mobile homes for a sturdier building or get into a ditch or culvert.
northeast.
It's about a half a mile down the road from us now, Gary. Okay, I'm going to stop here and we're going to get some shots.
We still see a huge tornado motion.
Gary?
Yes.
We are a half a mile south of the tornado. We're getting wind gusts of 60 right now.
You're 1/2 mile south?
Half a mile south of the tornado, we're getting wind gusts of 60.
From what direction?
I see a large piece of debris flying through the air about 200 yards to our north.
What direction are your winds?
West.
So you get some wraparound?
We're getting wraparound precip, definitely.
That looks like the entire thing. You got a surface-based mesocyclone.
Yes, that's exactly what it is. The whole thing's on the ground.
The whole thing's rotating. Val, so is it on I-44 yet?
Well, Gary, it's very close to I-40. So I'd say within a quarter of a mile or less.
Okay. That's about where it looks almost skirting it. Almost skirting it.
Well, the direction it's going, it's going to be on I-44 for a while.
Yeah, it looks like it's going right down I-44.
Yeah, that's not good.
It's difficult to get off that thing. If anyone's on I-44 headed south right now toward Chickasha, I would turn around.
I just saw a power flash, big power flash.
As you look at this tornado from Ranger 9 live, we have it right along Interstate 44, not too far from the toll booth, moving northeast at about 30 miles per hour. Tuttle would be on the north edge of the circulation, so mainly hail there. Newcastle, 704. Mustang should go to your south. Come in around southwest 70. Come in at 7:08 p.m. at southwest 134th. 709 crossing I-44, which is very close to now. Coming in at southwest 104th at 744. More area 722. Now, if it turns right, it will threaten. Okay, it has had baseball-sized hail with it as it's moved through. You're watching a long crack, very rare event. These usually account for only about 2% of all tornadoes. They are deadly. You need to be below ground level to survive. Once again, for you children that are home, get a lot of pillows, a lot of blankets, and get in the bathtub, get in between the stool and the wall, pack those pillows and blankets, coats, whatever in there with you. If you don't have a cellar or a basement in the middle part of your house, go to a north wall or an east wall and get as many clothes and pillows and blankets around you. Get down on the floor and cover up your head and your face. Those of you in the way of the path of this storm, for example, in the Newcastle area and over toward Moore and maybe North Norman, if it turns right again, you have plenty of time to move to a place of safety. We have no further reports of any other tornadoes in the state. Is that correct?
As the vortex passed over Sandrock Road, it tore the pavement from the street, a disturbing sign that the twister was much stronger than anyone really imagined.
Gary, we're heading north on I-44, and we're seeing at least one other tornado heading out of this, heading toward I-44 as well. Okay. A lot of cars pulled over to the side, but even more are racing toward the storm. So, kind of wish they could hear what you're saying.
Okay, we have a new tornado warning. We have a new tornado warning on near Fort Cobb. Storm Action 6. Another tornado. Storm Action 6. Tornado on the ground. You folks in Fort Cobb take immediate tornado precautions. The storm moved. Yeah, put him on. I'm going to add a projection on it. Mark, I'm going to give it northeast at 30. Is that about right?
That's correct, Gary. It continues to move northeast.
Okay, you still on the ground?
Yes, it is.
This thing appears to be paralleling the interstate. Val? Someone find Val. Val, can you hear me? He may be outside. It's coming right up alongside the turnpike. The circulation is about 6 miles across. Oh, man. Now, you folks, as you folks watch this thing now, as you watch this, keep in mind,
Brady, you need to call Val back. We got disconnected.
Evening, Christmas. Okay, just type it in, just the zones, okay.
We have Gary Horker on the get now.
Gary, talk to me.
Yes, we're heading right into the path of the thing on I-44, Gary. It's amazing. I mean, it's absolutely enormous, and we see a number of other tornadoes. I guess skirting on just one side of it.
All the tornadoes in the same general area, right?
It's all in the same heading towards the same general area, and we're seeing still a pretty heavy stream of traffic heading right toward it. So at a pretty good speed right now as we speak.
This is a long track tornado. You see all those lights to the south? We see all those lights to the south. Ranger 9, give us what location that town that is. It's moving into populated areas.
Ranger 9's out in the middle of nowhere. It's still just very, very slight.
It looks like it's,
He said it's just about to come across I-44.
okay.
Is that a...
Val is back.
About to come across I-40, yes.
With the tornado now entering Bridge Creek, the Irwin family realized their home would not survive. They rushed out into the howling winds, across their yard and into a drainage ditch that ran under a road. They would all survive while their pre-manufactured home was shredded.
Path now, more towards the northeast. I mean, it's starting to come into the outskirts of the metro area. There's residential sections off to the northeast of it, so I mean, it's still large,
Okay,
it's
Val.
still on the ground.
Val, as we were talking, we flashed on a picture of the tornado near Fort Cobb. You folks in the Fort Cobb area, Anadarko area.
Carol Weiss, a single mother to her son Jordan, took shelter in their home, which was also a pre-manufactured building. They rushed to the bathroom, but within seconds, the howling winds and low pressure lifted the structure into the air and obliterated the walls and roof. Carol would not survive.
Wow, a little bit to the, I think that's a little.
It was also in this area where a 10-month-old baby would be torn from her mother's arms while taking shelter in a small closet. Luckily, the mother and the child would survive.
This is a long track.
Mobile homes were now being turned into small, sharp projectiles in a process known as granulation. Cars became unrecognizable, while even some well-built homes were reduced to nothing more than a concrete slab. The ground scouring reached as deep as 1 foot in some areas. By this point, the tornado was an F5, the strongest on the Fujita scale.
Now, directly north of us,
Yes.
I think it's on the interstate right now, and it's got violent rotation.
I don't ever recall anything exactly like this.
The way it looks. Uh-oh.
Val,
Yes.
well, just go ahead and talk. Go ahead and talk.
Okay, Jerry. Like I say, we're probably a half a mile directly south of it. It's massive rotation. It's probably just coming off the turnpike right now. I saw some big power flashes within the tornado earlier, just a while ago.
Okay. Let's go to XL for just a brief second. Newcastle is large. The circulation is right in here at the toll booth. This is Interstate 44. It is moving right along the highway. The circulation is 6 miles across. The circulation is probably a half mile to mile across. So from along Interstate 44, where the toll booth is, to Newcastle, up into southwest 131st, southwest Oklahoma City, take your immediate tornado precautions. Go back to Ranger 9, long track, deadly tornado. Talk to me, Val.
Oh man, this thing is probably the south edge of the circulation is a half mile or less north of us, and that circulation is very, very strong. I don't think I've ever seen one that big before.
Mark Hill's reporting what? Damage in the Fort Cobb area due to the tornado. We still see, Val?
Yeah.
No, that's the toll booth. It's a little northwest of the toll. It's still north. It's paralleling Interstate 44 is what it's doing. That's the toll booth right there in front of you on the right. It's paralleling. So let me tell you, you live anywhere along I-44.
With a very large wedge-shaped tornado on the ground. I think I can't tell if it's come off of I-44 yet, but it's just as large as it was before.
Val, it's still a little to the west of I-44.
Is it really?
Yes, it is. I can see the toll booth. It's a little to the north, a little north of the toll booth.
Okay.
Looks like they blocked off the interstate, I-44.
Is it paralleling the interstate right now?
It is paralleling the interstate. You know, earlier it turned east. It may do it again because I can tell you the mesocyclone is cranking up, my friend. It is becoming stronger and stronger and stronger.
Well, the whole updraft, it just looks like one huge cylinder all the way up to the top of the storm.
Okay, Val, we've got the tornado right now close to the access road at H.E. Bailey Turnpike, north side of Newcastle. We've got baseball-sized hail in Newcastle right now. So, Ranger 9 is looking to the left as the toll booth. This thing is moving into the Newcastle area. And it's continuing to be northeast about 25. Now, if it turns a little bit to the right, it's not going to be good either way. Let's see. It's moving northeast about 25, 30 miles per hour coming up I-44. Boy. It continues on the ground.
In the southern hills section of Bridge Creek, no structure would remain standing. The swirling mass took mere seconds to level the Ridgecrest Baptist Church. Eyewitnesses claim to have seen the church rotate in midair before dropping onto its foundation. From this point on, the tornado would impact more well-built homes. However, they were no match for the incredible speeds within the vortex. In total, 12 people were killed in Bridge Creek.
Central Moore, South Moore, Newcastle, and far north Norman are in immediate danger of this tornado that continues to be on the ground. Let's take our view from live cam 4, and that is our view from the tower. And we're looking down toward the southwest, and let's go to South Cam if we can. And we'll go to live sky cam from South Oklahoma City, and the heavy rain and hail is now moving into South Oklahoma City. We do want to express to you, for the time being, it looks like the tornado will stay south of South 89th Street. It should stay in Cleveland and McLean County, although there may be large hail and damaging winds in Oklahoma County for you folks in South Oklahoma City. Heavy rain, hail, possible damaging winds, but the tornado should stay for the time being south of South 89th Street. And here's our new first video images from our forewarned storm units. We need to get Carano and David on the phone ASAP as this continues to track in. That's from David Payne.
Mobile Doppler radar trucks designed for collecting close-range, high-fidelity radar data encroached on the behemoth. As Dow 2 and Dow 3 drove down I-44, they found a picnic area, quickly parking and deploying. The scan data captured wind readings above 300 miles per hour, which would make this tornado the most powerful ever recorded.
And across parts of the area around the Newcastle area, this is the storm that McLean and Cleveland County are under. This is the area that we've been talking about. The same storm that was near Chickasha has continued to move up the turnpike. Mike Duncan, one of our photojournalists, is watching that circulation, getting calls in from folks in the Newcastle area who say they see the tornado on the ground. We know the storm sirens are going off in this area.
Tornado emergency in South Oklahoma City metro area at 6:57 p.m. Central Daylight Time. A large tornado was moving along Interstate 44 west of Newcastle. On its present path, this large damaging tornado will enter southwest sections of the Oklahoma City metro area between 7:15 and 7:30 p.m. Persons in Moore and South Oklahoma City should take immediate tornado precautions. This is an extremely dangerous and life-threatening situation. If you are in the path of this large and destructive tornado, take cover immediately. Doppler radar has indicated this storm may contain destructive hail to the size of baseballs or larger.
We are still on H.E. Bailey, about mile 102. There is a rain of debris coming down. Insulation, the interstate is littered all over the place with debris from this tornado, and it's sweeping by us at high rates of speed. Tornado is still on the west side of H.E. Bailey, about a quarter mile from the highway, and moving to the northeast. But it's getting very dark where we are, and there is hundreds of pieces of junk just floating through the air, going by in a circular motion, orbiting this huge tornado. Obviously, some houses have been hit. We've seen pink insulation flying through the air, wood parts of roofs. There is probably a 20-foot-long piece of roof flying 150 feet above the road right now, just across the road. It is amazing right now, Mike.
Mike, we want to stay with you as this comes into the metro. It looks like Newcastle, it's going to track within a mile or two of downtown Newcastle, especially up near Highway 37, as it'll travel very close to the Bailey Turnpike, and then Westmore, even South Moore and North Norman. That is the area that we are most concerned with. And in Oklahoma City, you folks in Oklahoma County need to stay in your homes. Don't travel. Stay away from windows as the northern edge of this severe storm producing the tornado is going to travel into South. Well, it's in there right now. Midwest City, Del City, South Oklahoma City, and that area, Tinker Diagonal, heavy rain, hail, possible damaging winds, but right now, no threat of a tornado north of South 89th Street. Just stay in your homes and stay away from windows as it moves through. Cleveland, McLean counties, completely different story. Newcastle to Moore to North Norman, immediate danger of a large tornado moving through your neighborhood. If you can get below ground, even if it's 2 homes away from you, if you live in Moore or Norman, go there now and get below ground as this comes on in. We just can't take any chances as the tornado is very large and very strong. Steve Carano now live on the phone line 2. Steve, go ahead.
Mike, I am in Newcastle, just south of Newcastle, watching the tornado cross the road, just about to cross the road in front of me. I'm going to try to get a better vantage point here. A lot of folks out here looking at this thing. I want to try to allow, try to get people to stay off the road. That's what I want to say. It is very, very dangerous to be out here. And as Dan Trokeld has said time and time again, don't get out and look. This is a huge tornado, and we've had to work around people, and it's very, very dangerous. But I am in Newcastle, and it's about a mile wide, Mike, this tornado.
Okay, tell me from downtown Newcastle exactly where it is.
It's moving probably right through Newcastle right now. It is either on top of downtown Newcastle or just west.
Okay, you say just west of Newcastle. Give us your best indication. How far west of Newcastle?
Less than a mile.
Less than a mile? Is that downtown Newcastle?
Yes, probably a mile or not less.
Okay, 1 mile or less of downtown Newcastle, moving on in. And Steve, stay with us on the line. Mike Duncan, let's go back to you for an update from your location. Mike Duncan. Do we have Mike Duncan in the control room? Okay, he'll check back with us. Steve Carano, let's walk through this. We have David Payne as well. David?
Yeah, Mike, go ahead.
Go ahead, David.
Okay, again, we're just south of Newcastle here. And again, a large, very, very large tornado on the ground. Still continues on the ground now. I'm just south of Newcastle. About a mile here. About a half mile to just coming on the south side of Newcastle. Numerous power flashes. Still large tornado on the ground. Estimated width there, honestly, looks about like I did earlier, half mile to 3/4 of a mile wide, maybe. At this point, it's got a huge, we call it a debris shroud out ahead of it, which is still packing quite a wall. There's still a lot of debris flying on the eastern side of it, anywhere from 90 to 100 miles an hour on the southern side as well. But the actual tornado, again, about the half mile to 3/4 of a mile wide. It's just to my northwest now. I've got debris falling out of the sky, Mike, as I've had pretty much all afternoon. But again, right now, I just had a small board hit the front of the truck. We've got leaves and all kinds of people's homes and stuff falling from the sky. It looks like birds. Looks like just 1,000 birds everywhere. There's just debris all over the place here, coming in on the south sides of Newcastle. And again, large tornado, and I mean large tornado on the ground.
Okay, we are getting reports now from our crews in the field of all sorts of damage and injuries. And keep in mind, this is a developing situation, but we, as Steve and David have confirmed, and Mike Duncan, there is a tremendous amount of debris back in Grady County. We are getting reports of, well, just a quote from our ground unit, entire hilltop of structures wiped out, and that would be southeast of Tuttle. So the damage is quite severe as this now comes into Newcastle. Steve, let's go back to you live. Go ahead.
Well, Mike, David just passed me. He is north of me on Highway 62. That your tornado is going right through Newcastle right now. It's about to cross Highway 62, which is the north-south road through Newcastle, and it is moving on through. We've got debris flying in the air, lightning, arches of lightning or electricity because of it hitting power lines, Mike. You might want to call David. David is closer to this tornado right now than I am.
Okay, Steve, just keep talking to us. Keep talking to us.
Okay.
Going through Newcastle.
It's crossing. It's going through Newcastle right now. Still a very, very large tornado. It's crossing. Up here. Can I go Highway 62? I need to go this way. Newcastle. Transformers are exploding in Newcastle. Transformers are exploding. Mike?
Yeah, we're hearing you. We're listening. Transformers
Steve,
exploding.
Go ahead.
Okay, get out of there. Okay, he is talking about transformers exploding. That's the storm that we're talking about the Newcastle storm as it makes its way out of the Newcastle areas into the south side of Oklahoma City. Even though officially the tornado warning is not in effect for Oklahoma County, Mike, we understand that the storm sirens are going off, and we're getting pictures now.
David, go ahead.
Oh, you got an ice field coming out.
David, go ahead. You are on the air. Last report is it's going through Newcastle. Go ahead, David Payne. You're live on the air.
Hello?
Yes, David, you are there. We're getting cellular interruptions because of the damage in that part of the metro is what's happening right now.
Mike?
Yes, David, go ahead. David Payne, go ahead.
This is Carano.
Go ahead, Steve.
Well, you can't. I don't know why you cannot hear Mike or David, but I can tell you that the tornado has just gone through Newcastle. It just went through downtown Newcastle. It's east of Highway 62 now. lots of transformers exploding, electricity, and we are still in behind this because it's so large, Mike. The tornado is about 3/4 of a mile to a mile wide. So we're having to stay off of it just a little bit because of flying debris.
Okay.
It is just moved through Newcastle. It's east of Highway 62 right now. Very large tornado still on the ground, and it's amazing.
Okay, Steve, we're listening to your report. We'll continue to watch this very closely. Mike Duncan now joins us again.
At the 16th Street overpass, several motorists parked to seek shelter, doing so under the false belief that it would save them. One of the motorists was Kathleen Walton, along with her son Levi. As the tornado impacted, the winds accelerated under the overpass, and despite her best efforts to hold on, she was pulled out. She would not survive. Others suffered horrific life-threatening injuries, and vehicles originally parked under the overpass were mangled beyond recognition. This would not be the first death involving overpasses with this tornado.
In the Newcastle area. We're watching this closely. We also have now a reissuance of the tornado warning for the folks that live in Canadian County and also in southeastern Kingfisher County. This is the area we're talking about. Here is the I-40 area. This storm right in this region, right in here. So again, if you live in Canadian County, the northern part of that county, or the southern part of Kingfisher County, you are now under a tornado warning. This tornado warning is in effect until 7:30. Most dangerous part of the storm is located near the Okarche area. This is the area that we're talking about. So again, we're watching this storm closely as it makes its way towards the metro area. We're also watching this storm, a dangerous part of the storm located near the Okarche area that'll be tracking up towards Kingfisher County. So if you live in southern Kingfisher County, northern parts of Canadian County, you're under immediate tornado, you should be taking immediate tornado precautions, a dangerous situation. And this storm, we've got Steve Carano, David Payne, and Mike Duncan on this storm, our storm trackers, and that's going to continue to move over towards the metro area. Officially right now, Oklahoma County is not under a tornado warning. We're under a severe thunderstorm warning, but this is a storm that will likely continue to move towards the south sides of town. But folks in the Newcastle area, we understand there's damage there. We understand that there's still a lot of traffic, especially, Mike, this time of day when a lot of folks are on the roadways and getting home. So that makes it for even a more dangerous situation.
Yes, it does. So let's take Steve Carano live. Steve, tell us what's going on. Here's your Skylink picture. Go ahead. You're live.
Okay, that is the Skylink picture as it was west of Newcastle, Mike. I am on 130, Highway 130. I am paralleling the storm. I'm south of the tornado. It is on the ground still. Very, very massive. I mean, it's about 3/4 to a mile wide. We keep on saying that. People definitely need to stay in. Keep your TV tuned in. Go to your safe place. Do what you need to do because I am moving east on Highway 130. And Mike, if you could tell me real quick, if you have access, do I have a north-south road that you could give me that I won't get into this
Well,
thing?
the folks that live along Highway 37, as far north as Moore, the folks on Highway 37 over to downtown Moore, Newcastle crossing over 44 right now, crossing the river right now. Highway 37, if you live north or south of Highway 37 in Moore, all the way over to I-35, now is the time to get down. And we really need you folks to think about the very safest place you can possibly go away from windows, interior closet or bathroom, below ground level, even if the nearest area below ground level is a house or two away. We really, truly recommend you go there and get below ground. If you don't have any place below ground, then you need to get in the bathroom, get in the bathtub, put something heavy like a heavy blanket or a mattress over your head, and hunker down in the bathtub as this comes through Newcastle and Moore, near and especially south of Highway 37, South Moore. Steve Carano, go ahead.
Mike, it is on the ground. Still, I am at the highway end of 130 and 62. Transformers are exploding. I'm in the west side of Newcastle. It looks like it's going to be north and west of Newcastle. Probably going through Highway 62 here. The street lights are out, Highway 62, and it is going to be north, right along the turnpike, Mike, north of downtown Newcastle.
Oh, okay, Steve Carano, what's your exact location right now and exactly where's the tornado?
Highway 62, and it's going to cross Highway 62 on the northwest side of Newcastle, the northwest side of Newcastle. The northern extent of Newcastle, you folks need to take cover. All of Highway 62 here, all the power is pretty much gone. It's off. So be careful with that. So it's going to cross Highway 62 and come into the southwest side of the metro, Mike.
Steve, keep talking to us. We want to walk the folks through. Keep going.
Okay. I'm on Northwest 10th Street in Newcastle, Northwest 10th Street and Highway 62 going through Newcastle. It is on, I'm getting some wind here. I'm on the north side of Newcastle. Multi-vortex, wow. Multi-vortex, Mike, as it's going through the northwest side of Newcastle.
Okay.
Oh, wait. Okay, I may have to stop, Mike. Hang on.
Okay,
Yes.
David, Steve, be very, very careful at any time. Anytime you have to drop out, we certainly understand that. This is some video that was shot earlier. Very dangerous situation. This is the storm that they're on, and again, we want to keep our storm trackers safe as they continue to provide information. Again, if your power goes out, we continue to broadcast on FM on 104.1. We're also now told we're also on AM on KOMA at 1520. You're looking at video. There's our graphic there. Again, on FM, in case the television goes out and you lose power, FM 104.1, and also on AM on 1520. David Payne now joins us. David, what do you see?
Dan, again, I'm about 2 miles north and east of Newcastle. The power just went off in Newcastle. And again, the tornado just north of town here. An F2, I'm sorry, let me back up. An F3, F4, quarter to a half-mile wide tornado. Unbelievable. Just northeast of town here. Major tornado doing major damage. It took out several structures, demolished several structures. I saw roofs. I saw telephone poles. I've seen everything in the air as it just crossed about a quarter of a mile north of me. And again, still on the ground, still violently rotating. F4, F5. Again, people don't need to look at these pictures. They need to take cover immediately. This storm is huge. This tornado is big. And again, we're up on it right now. It's to the northeast of Newcastle, about 3 miles.
Okay, David Payne. Do we have Steve Carano? Steve Carano, go ahead.
Yes,
Steve, you are live.
I am south. It's north and east of Newcastle right now. North and east of Newcastle. It is a multi-vortex, Mike. I've got several vortices rotating around the main vortex, and it's huge. There's probably 4 tornadoes. It's got a lot of debris. I'm on Highway 62, and it's still north and east of me, probably about maybe a mile or 2 northeast of Highway 62.
Okay, put me in key here, control room. Put me in key. The storm now is turning more to the left.
The tornado then produced a small satellite vortex that rotated around the funnel briefly. It was now in an open field and shrinking substantially. News crews and chasers, now having seen the tornado pass I-44, continued north to follow it.
And approach South 89th Street. So we are talking about possibly as far north as South 89th Street. The tornado is located right here. That's at 44, just to the southwest of Highway 37, Westmore. It is now beginning to turn more to the left, and that will take it up to as far north as South 89th Street. Even you folks that are a mile north of South 89th Street, you folks need to seek shelter immediately. Interior closet or bathroom. We're talking about South Oklahoma City, near South 89th Street, because the tornado now is turning more to the left. Let's go back now live to Steve Carano. Steve, what's it look like?
Okay, Mike, I've got Skylink pictures heading back towards you right now. Multiple vortex tornadoes still on the ground. It's north and east of Newcastle. It's east of Highway 62. And you folks in western side of Moore, I guess, what is that, Highway 37, Mike? I'm not close to the map. Is that Highway 37? Debris everywhere. Several multi-vortex tornadoes rotating around that. You folks in Moore, please take cover. This is a huge storm, and it's still moving east, northeast, and Mike, it looks like like you were saying earlier, it's trying to turn left. It's anchoring right now. It's staying put. It's hanging tight. It's still moving east, northeast at a very slow clip. You folks in Moore, please take cover. This thing is moving towards you right now. Northeast of Newcastle, Mike, and east of Highway 62.
Okay, let's go to our live picture from South 89th and I-35. Now, do we know what direction we are looking here? That is South 89th and I-35. We need to keep that picture up. Now let's go back to Steve Carano with the Edge. Steve, give us an update. Steve Carano, go ahead. Do we? Okay.
We got new pictures in.
Yes,
now.
New pictures. Let's go to Skylink and first video. Large debris cloud.
Mike,
Steve, yes, go ahead.
Yes, you should have my pictures in the storm center now. The storm is going to be moving through the south sides of the metro. You folks in Moore and southern parts of 89th Street in that area, please take cover. This storm is still moving to east-northeast.
Give it a shot.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Yes, we're watching this now. We're looking at your picture just coming in. We also have another vantage point. We have Kelsey Angle, our intern. He also sees that storm. Kelsey, tell us exactly where you're at and what you see specifically.
Robinson Street on 48th Street and just south of Indian Hills Road, and I have the tornado off to my northeast. Large circulation, multiple vortex, and it looks like it's going to pass just right along Indian Hills Road and possibly to the north.
Okay, thank you very much on that, Kelsey. Just keep us posted on that. Mike, again, the tornado warning also continues in effect for the folks that live in the Kingfisher area. The Kingfisher County area, you're under a tornado warning. We're watching two separate areas where tornadoes likely may be on the ground. Kingfisher County, everywhere in the county, you should be taking immediate tornado precautions. We continue to watch this, still moving to the north and northeast, but you live in the Kingfisher area right now. You should go to the basement. You should go to the storm cellar. This is a dangerous storm that'll be passing to the east of the Dover area and eventually working its way perhaps as far into the western and northwestern parts of Logan County. And again, for the folks that live in the Moore area, tornado warning continues for this area, McLean and Cleveland County. Mike, officially Oklahoma County is not under a tornado warning, which is surprising.
Well, if it keeps turning to the left, it's going to get very close to South 89th Street, especially South 89th, near I-35 and east of I-35. It'll gradually approach South 89th Street, but anybody along Highway 37 in Moore, all the way over to I-35, South 4th Street, it looks like it's going to travel right through that part of Moore. Now, we do have David Payne. David, is it still on the ground? David Payne, go ahead. You're live. Okay, how about Steve Carano? Steve, are you there?
I am approaching south, just crossing the Canadian River on Highway 44. It is still to my east. You folks on Highway 37 and in Moore, it is making an east-northeasterly track. You folks are definitely in danger of this storm as it's going to track along and just south of Mike, probably 89th Street. Is that right?
Yes.
That's what I'm seeing.
Yes, it should approach 89th Street near I-35.
The tornado, now re-intensifying, takes a sharp left turn north. This places Moore and the Oklahoma City Metro directly in the damage path. It also seems to catch some storm trackers off guard. David Payne, who is in one of the KFOR vehicles, gets too close for comfort when he realizes the twister is headed directly for them. He throws their car into reverse and barely escapes the intense winds and swirling debris.
44, and it's still off to my east and northeast, about maybe 3. I would put it around the Moore vicinity and 4th Street exit, probably. That's in the vicinity.
Yes.
So, folks, over there, and you really need to take care.
We are conference with David Payne now. David, go ahead.
Okay, Mike, I'm on a southwest 149th, just north of the river, and an F3, F4 tornado. I just had to back out. I was too close. I have to admit, I had to back out a little bit. Got a little scared there for a second. Again, it's crossing southwest 149th right now. Oh my gosh, I've got a huge roof in the air. I've got a home roof in the air. I've got winds down to 100 in my position to 110 miles an hour. The tornado is directly over southwest 149th, and it's a half-mile wide, and it's an F4 tornado, winds in excess of 200, maybe 240 miles an hour. Hey. If you can hear the wind, I'll roll the window down, and you can hear the wind here. You can hear the rushing water sound, the roar, if you would. It just crossed southwest 149th, just east of 44, and it's
Several homes are impacted here. Luckily, many of them remain standing. However, the tornado's next target, Country Place, will not be so lucky. The small neighborhood that's still under development will receive F5 damage with homes swept clean off their foundations.
Of damage here, I've got, as I'm talking here, there's several homes here that were hit extremely hard. I have animals, power lines down, animals down. I have a mess, and of course, as you can imagine, we need emergency crews here on Southwest 49th, just east 44. And oh my gosh, looking around, Mike, it looks literally like a war zone. I mean, every house, cars, it's really bad. I can just describe it as a war zone. There's debris everywhere. There's parts of houses that are missing. Major large trees are snapped off of the base, sheared off of the base. And again, the tornado now just to my north and east.
If you'd like to make a call,
just to my north and east, about 1/8 of a mile. You can hear the wind here.
Let's go to Chopper 4.
About 100 miles an hour right now.
Let's go to Chopper 4. Jim Gardner and Chopper 4. Go ahead, Jim. Jim Gardner, you are live.
Okay, Mike, I got you now. Took a while to get everything lined out. We're just lifted Westheimer, full fuel here. We're coming in. We got a visual on a tornado moving northeast. We'd like to say there's a lot of lightning with this, Mike, and if you'll give me a minute, I have to pass along to Corey, George, and Ryan for Cruise Aviation to turn us around. They didn't have to fuel us. They did anyway. We're back up in the air. Right now we're getting back on the tornado, Mike. It's still very large, still very big. I hope you're getting a good picture. We'll get around here in a minute where we can start tracking it, and we'll go along with our updates. Back to you.
Okay, Jim, we want to stay with you. The current location of this is Highway 37 and Pennsylvania. That is the exact location. We'll stay with Jim Gardner live. It is traveling northeast into Central and North Moore and may approach South 89th Street and I-35. David Payne, you still have you live. Go ahead. Let's go to Quinn Tran in Chickasha with damage. Let's go over to Quinn.
Mike, we are along Highway 81 near the municipal airport. West of here, there's damage. You're looking right there west of Highway 81. The municipal airport is simply destroyed. They describe it as happening very quickly. This was a Navy air base built in World War II, and they say it's never been damaged until now. If you look east of here on Highway 81, you can see some of the debris from the airport tossing over towards...
Several vehicles are mangled beyond recognition here, with one being thrown under the culvert along Southwest 134th Street. This area also sees windrowing occur, a phenomenon where debris is blown into highly convergent lines. This usually only happens with the most violent of tornadoes.
We're hitting large transformer explosions right now. A lot of explosions going off in the middle of this tornado. So significant damage being done as this tornado tracks. We're getting a lot of turbulence here, Mike. We're right on the edge of, the winds are just incredible when we went into Westheimer. We were still several miles away from this thing, but the winds are just absolutely incredible.
Okay, this will be tracking across I-35 just to the north of Highway 37 at around Southwest 104th Street. If you live around Southwest 104th and I-35 back down to May Avenue and Highway 37, it is right there tracking towards Southwest 104th or South 104th and I-35. Jim, let's stay with your chopper shot. It is moving in now to the heart of northwestern Moore. Go ahead.
Roger, Mike. We can see cars on the roads, on the streets up in front of us, Mike. I don't know if you can tell that from you, but I mean, these people need to get off this road. I mean, it's just, I don't know what to say, Mike. The pictures tell it all. It's just, this is just a massive tornado. It's creating a lot of damage. Anybody caught in this thing is going to be injured. They need to get off now if they're listening to the radio and find a safe place. They got emergency crews running everywhere down the road here, Mike. We're coming up just northwest of Westheimer here, about 4 miles, tracking northeastbound with this tornado. You just see the explosions going.
Luckily, the Westmore High School avoids a direct hit from the funnel, which at this point has ingested several homes, killed 3 people, and resulted in F5 damage to the neighborhood south of the school.
We're going to stay with this one for a while as well and just go back and forth between the chopper and the ground shot. There is the tornado on the ground. You're at South 89th Street and I-35. That's just to the south of Crossroads Mall. You're looking toward the southwest.
As the tornado crosses Southwestern Avenue, it impacts the Emerald Springs apartment complex. The damage here is extensive, and 3 more people are killed. This area would also receive an F5 damage rating.
And we just cannot express enough to you how dangerous this is, and this is extremely dangerous. We need to express to you, if you're ahead of this, you need to find someplace as safe as you possibly can. There's the live picture from Southeast 89th and I-35. That's just to the south of Crossroads Mall. You're looking toward the south, and there's the large tornado on the ground now moving through downtown Moore. Let's go back to our chopper shot. And Jim, how wide do you think this thing is?
Come back, Mike.
How wide do you think this is right now?
Boy, Mike, from my vantage point right now, it's got to be over a quarter mile to a half mile wide from what we're looking at.
Okay, I
mean, that's just a rough estimate. I'm probably not that good, but it's significantly large. Let's put it that way.
We are also experiencing problems with the cell phones now because of the damage in southwest sections of Moore. Some of the cell sites are becoming unreliable. So if you're having a hard time reaching your friends or loved ones in Moore. That's probably why, in addition to power lines, multiple power lines now which are down and destroyed in the western sides of Moore. And once again, you're looking at live from Chopper 4 of what appears to be an F4 tornado now moving through Moore, Oklahoma, and that is just to the south of South Oklahoma City. It looks like it will stay in Cleveland County until it at least gets past I-35. There's a chance it could move up toward Tinker Air Force Base. You folks in Midwest City, south sides of Dell City, Tinker Air Force Base, along I-240 over to Lake Stanley Draper. It is headed directly your way. There's our live picture from I-35 and Southeast 89th. If you live over near Tinker Air Force Base, you need to think about where you need to go to stay safe and take your battery-operated radio on Magic 104.1, and you can go to your safe spot with that radio. We will stay with you through the entire time. Interior closet, preferably a bathroom in the bathtub, a mattress over your head. If you have a storm cellar or basement, or even any type of hole that is down below ground, even a crawl space in your home that is below ground, you really need to consider going there. We pray that you are safe in South Oklahoma City, because this is a terrible, terrible live view from Chopper 4. Jim Gardner, what do you see?
Hang on one. Mike, I was just talking to the Westheimer Tower. They've lost their telephones. They are also having a problem with their radios. He's talking to me right now. Giving you information on this tornado to inform Tinker of its path. But they're starting to get a lot of power outages around here, Mike. We can see lights go off. One side of the southwest side of where we are right now is totally black. Mike, there's no
Now passing Santa Fe Avenue, the tornado inflicts more F5 damage. Impressive video from several angles captures the barrage of power flashes from arcing transformers. Both the Regency Park Baptist Church and Kelly Elementary School are hit directly by the twister, suffering almost complete devastation. 4 people will be killed in this section of Moore.
This is an F4 tornado going through Moore live. It's just
Mike,
the
this is going to cross.
scenario.
This is going to cross I-35. I-35 is very, very heavy in traffic southbound at this time.
Folks, if you're listening on
cross right now, you see the explosion.
If you are south of 89th Street on I-35 down to South 4th Street and Moore, get out of your car right now. Get out of your car right now. Don't wait. Don't wait till you see a picture of it. Don't wait until you can see it. Get out of your car right now. Get underneath an underpass. Get in a hole. Get in a ditch. Get out of your car on I-35. You folks listening to us on the radio, get out of your car. Do not be in your car anywhere near this tornado. It could even suck you in if you're close to it. Let's go back to our live. Let's go to South Oklahoma City ground shot. South 89th and I-35.
Mike, there you can see it on the ground. Very dangerous situation. Our worst fears really are realized. A major tornado on the ground.
At Shields Overpass on I-35, several motorists desperate to seek shelter crash into each other, causing a blockade. They rush from their cars, struggling to fight against the intense winds. Many that can't make it dive into the ditch beside the highway. A horrific scene unfolds as Trembui, a young mother of 2, is swept away by the winds while her husband holds their 2 children to the ground. She would not survive. Many others huddling under the overpass are blown out into the embankment beside the highway. Luckily, they will survive, but suffer serious injuries.
Level you possibly can. We plead with you, do not take the extra minute or 2. We plead with you to get below ground, get in the interior closet or bathroom, get in the bathtub. We plead with you. There it is, crossing Interstate 35. There is a tremendous amount of debris in the air. We pray and plead with you, please get down now. If you're I-35, get out of your car. If you're east of I-35 over to Tinker Air Force Base, please, we plead with you, go to your safe spot now, take your radio, forget the live pictures, go get safe. Oh my gosh.
89, South 89.
Folks, we plead with you, just go to your safe spot if you possibly can. That's an F. Look at the horizontal vortex. That is an F4 to an F5 tornado. That's winds of 250 miles an hour.
All right, we're asking our crew right now to shut down, get out, and get out of there. This is a dangerous situation. Mike, a serious situation, and many folks still will be tempted to go outside and try to look at this thing. Do not go outside. Stay where you're at. If you're in your car in this area, you need to get out of your car right now. Going to be experiencing some power outages. We're simulcasting right now on AM 1520 KOMA and also on Magic 104.1 FM and also on KRXO. So FM 107.7 or 104.1 or also KOMA 1520. This is the largest storm we have seen in the metro area.
Oh my gosh. This will go south of our live camera. This will go south of our live camera.
Okay.
I think they can probably stay up and be safe. It's going to go to their south and to their east. Folks, if you live along South 89th Street, and it's in North Moore right now, if you live on South 89th Street over to Lake Stanley Draper and Tinker Air Force Base, folks, it's headed your way, and it could easily be an F5 tornado. We plead with you, do not take this lightly. The GM plant is not safe.
No,
GM plant is in the direct path of this.
If you're working out in the General Motors plant, take the immediate tornado precautions.
Evacuate the plant right now. Go to your designated tornado safety.
The swirling mass filled with shredded debris now impacts the Lakeside Golf Course. It was here that 3-inch deep sections of turf were peeled up. A tree on the property was completely debarked, and a bicycle, stripped of everything but its frame, became entangled in what was left of the tree.
We do not have, Mike, Tinker and both General Motors both have a plan of action. They do know what to do in case a tornado warning is issued. Those are the things that we practice for. Do those things now. Those kids that are listening to us and watching us, we do have drills. We do go to your schools. We tell you the safe things to do. Do those things right now. Storm sirens, you may or may not hear them, but this is a very dangerous situation for South Oklahoma City. Folks that live in the Kingfisher area, we continue with a tornado warning there, Mike. We'll continue to watch that, but this tornado right now is on the ground.
Folks, it is also still turning left. It is turning left, and that's going to take it deeper into Oklahoma County, east of I-35. It looks to be Tinker Air Force Base. It looks to be in the direct bullseye path of this tornado. Even South Dale City and even Central and South Midwest City, even as far north as Southeast 29th Street, over around Midwest and Air Depot. If you live near that area or south of there, you stand the risk of having a direct hit from this tornado. It is headed directly toward Tinker Air Force Base. House is leveled in Moore. Do we still have our South 89th Street live shot? Let's go to it.
Okay, there you can see what we've been talking about. Those of you listening, we're looking at live pictures from the Moore area. Very dangerous situation.
If you can hear me?
We can hear the crew live. Go ahead.
This is Dan Anderson. I'm just 1 mile north on 35 access road. This thing passed right in front of us about a mile away. It is huge. I've seen several explosions from power lines. We have crews coming down. We're starting to get hammered by rain now. But you're looking at the back side of it. As it went past I-35, it looked like it went directly over the Moore Water Tower.
Yes, we have you, Dan Anderson, directly over the Moore Water Tower, and you're looking at the backside. You're looking southeast from South 89th Street and I-35. It is now traveling through northeast Moore, approaching Sunny Lane, Sooner, and Air Depot roads. It's near Bryant and southeast 89th and 104th Street in Bryant. Right now is the location. Can we go back to Jim Gardner? Tammy Payne is also live on the phone. Tammy, it is moving directly toward your location.
Mike, it's obvious it is. The skies have gotten considerably darker in a short amount of time, and folks here in Midwest City who are driving are taking the dark skies, heavy rain, and quarter-size hail very seriously. We have a number of family members, children, and parents, women who've gotten out of their cars and are taking cover under a bridge, under blankets. More than a dozen cars under the bridge where we are stationed, and we're going to stay here and tell you if anything changes here in Midwest City. I tell you, the folks who are home, count your lucky stars. Some of these people who waited too long to get home are paying for it to a certain extent, having to take cover under bridges, hoping for the best as it appears things are heading our way.
Tammy, please stay with us and also take a look where you are and be prepared to seek shelter. Jim Gardner live.
Mike,
Jim, go ahead.
Tinker, we're in view of Tinker Air Force Base at this time. I've counted 6 lightning strikes directly to the Tinker Air Force Base in front of this tornado. I mean, Tinker's just getting pelted with lightning strikes. It's unbelievable.
The tornado tears across the American Freightways Terminal, a large trucking facility. Truck drivers Anthony Battaglia and Jerry Webb are killed while protecting others with their own bodies. The terminal itself is shredded by the twister as it moved towards I-240.
From Bryant Sunny Lane, Sooner, Air Depot, Midwest, Douglas, or Post roads on I-240, and you're in your car, you need to get out of your car. You need to go park. You need to park your car underneath an underpass. Get out of your car now and go up underneath those girders and get up there and wedge yourself up in those girders. Do not stay in your car. It's going to track across 240 as it heads into Tinker Air Force Base. Dan.
Mike, very dangerous situation. We continue to talk about that. Folks, really, unless you can see these pictures, you don't know how serious of a situation this is if you're listening to us. Don't fart around with this storm. This is one of the most dangerous situations I've ever seen, I've ever heard, I've ever been involved in. This is bad, folks. Bob Jr. is going to join us now. We understand, Bob Jr., that there have been some evacuations. What can you tell us, Bobby?
Well, Dan, I hope you can hear me okay. I'm at the Myriad, and of course the Blazers are getting ready to play hockey against Huntsville Channel Cats in Game 2 of the Central Hockey League Finals, and they evacuated the Myriad about 15 minutes ago. And we're happy to report the Blazers and their staff did a great job. It was a very calm evacuation, and right now I'd say about 2,000 or 3,000 fans are in the parking garage of the Myriad on the south end, which we're told is the safest part of the building. So everything right now is on hold at the Myriad. I think a lot of precautions have been taken. There's been a little flickering of power inside this building and some what sounds like transformers being hit outside or something because of the rain and lightning, what have you. But okay. So anyway, right now it's a pretty safe situation here, I believe.
Okay, thank you, Bobby. Continue to monitor the situation. South 89th, we understand it's on the ground.
Yeah, it's coming. It's almost on 240 right now.
Yeah, South 89th and Sunny Lane, almost on 240. Tornado, large tornado on the ground right now. David Payne joins us. David, can you see the storm?
Yeah, Dan, it's on 240. I'm a mile east of Sunny Lane. It's on 240 at Sunny Lane. I've got major damage here on 240 eastbound here. I just passed Sunny Lane. I've got west winds again at about 80 miles an hour, and it looks like snow. It looks like snow. I've got so much debris. I've got debris all over my car. There's debris hanging on the power lines that are
An empty rail car is lofted by the tornado at this point. It will land 3/4 of a mile away.
It looks like a desert. What I mean is there's nobody here, but my car going eastbound, there's billboard signs, big metal billboard signs blown over, and it literally looks like an atomic bomb went off here just east on I-240 at Sunny Lane. The tornado now is just to my east, just to my northeast, about an eighth of a mile or less. A rapid rotation here, and again, trees, large trees are sheared off at the base, and I'm having okay.
David, it is now it's 1 mile southwest.
I'm going to pull out of here. We've got all kinds of gas lines now leaking. I smell gas spewing all over east of Sunny Lane here on 240.
And that brings up a good point, David. Folks that are going down there, if you are not in the affected area, we plead with you, do not go down there. Gas lines have been ruptured. There is a potential for it to be injured by flying debris that is still falling from the sky. Emergency crews have to have the roadways clear to rescue folks that have been trapped in this in Moore. And we know that has happened because an F4 tornado has just gone through Moore. The emergency crews have got to have the roads clear to rescue the folks in Moore. Please do not go to the affected area. Give these folks...
Hey, Mike?
Yes, go ahead, David.
I don't know if you can hear me, but there's big pieces of debris hitting my car that sound like hail. There's large pieces of homes and whatever else this tornado has just ripped through.
It's coming into Tinker right now. It's coming into Tinker
right now. I'm at Bryant
right
Avenue. I'm at Bryant Avenue at 240, and I don't know what was here before that was on the corner of Bryant and 35, but it's gone. Whatever was here, I'm sorry, I-240 and Bryant.
Yes.
Industrial buildings here, they're literally gone. There's nothing left at all. There's nothing left at all.
Jim Gardner, can you jump in here? Can you still see Tinker?
I can see Tinker. It's right off my nose, Mike. There it is in your picture. You can see in reference to it, to where the tornado is moving. In just a few minutes here, Mike, it's going to be crossing the Tinker Air Force Base.
And it is still on the ground back in there, is it not?
It is on the ground. There's still explosions going off, transformers, lights going out all over. It appears, though, Mike, of course, we're moving in around to the southwest edge of it here. There's some more explosions going off. It's still on the ground, Mike. It's just a few minutes away from Tinker.
Jim Gardner will continue to watch this situation. Tammy Payne, for those in the Tinker Air Force Base area, you are under immediate danger right now. You should be taking the necessary tornado precautions. Those listening in your vehicle, get out of your vehicle. Go into a convenience store. Go into a substantial structure. If that's not available, Get out of your car, away from your car, in a ditch or ravine, cover up your head, and pray to God, because this is a serious situation. Westmore High School damage, Moore High School damage, homes off their foundation. Again, some tips for you. You do need to go to a basement or a storm cellar. If that's not available, you need to go to the inside part of your house. We're talking about a closet. We're talking about the hallway, or even crawling into the bathtub. If you can, go there right now. Have the kids put on their winter coats or cover up in a blanket in case there's flying debris. Let the kids know if you do those necessary things, you have a substantial chance of surviving this thing. And we do need to remind you that you do need to try to stay calm. I know it's very difficult to do during this time, but stay calm. Do those things without panicking. You'll have a much better chance of getting through this. Stay inside. We beg you, do not go outside to try to see this thing. Stay where you're at right now and cover up, because this is a dangerous situation. Now it's getting very difficult to see. It's going to be a very dangerous situation for those who are going to be out, and we encourage you, because as Mike mentioned, a dangerous situation with emergency vehicles trying to get down to the Moore area. If you hop in your car and try to see this thing, the only thing that you're doing is causing more problems. The rescue crews may not be able to get down. Also, we know because of the power outages and all the flashes that we've seen, that many of the electrical power lines are down or live laying on the ground. That's a very dangerous situation, so don't get in your car. Stay exactly where you're at right now, and because this storm is still on the ground. Mike, I'm very concerned about this storm because, again, it continues to move into an area that is extremely populated.
And it continues to pull toward the left, which is going to take it more into Midwest City. Jim, visually, what do you see right now? It looks like it's right on.
Now the tornado was becoming rain-wrapped and difficult to see. It was also decreasing in size. The Parkview neighborhood will sustain a direct impact from the twister. Many homes were obliterated here, and one woman was killed.
Keeps pulling to the left, which is going to take it up to 240 and southeast 29th, even on possibly the northern side of Tinker, and that's going to be approaching the downtown area of Midwest City. And Jim, visually, it appears to still obviously be on the ground.
It is, Mike. There's still transformers exploding on the ground. From our vantage point, it looks like it may cross the north end of Tinker or not, but right now I would say it's just approximately entering the abandoned land area that is just west of Tinker. It's just now crossed, what's that? I don't know what that first road is, Air Depot. I believe that's Air Depot. It's just crossing that. It's entered into like a vacant area of land, and then it'll enter onto the Air Force Base.
Jim,
Mike.
what is that street there that we're looking at right below you?
I believe this is Air Depot, Mike, if I'm not mistaken.
Air Depot looking north.
Right. Right now we're directly south of it, looking north of that.
Okay, that's going to put the tornado at southeast 44th and Air Depot. Southeast 44th and Air Depot. Jim, do you believe that entire dark area, is that potentially, it looks from here, that's potentially part of the circulation, that whole dark area?
Yes, Mike, that whole dark area still is part of the circulation. It appears to have weakened, though. It appears to have weakened. It does. But, we still have transformers. There's still a significant amount of lightning and wind involved in this. But it appears that it has weakened a little bit, Mike, which is, thank God. It's just incredible.
It is still kind of pulling more to the left, which southeast 15th, southeast 29th, Air Depot, Midwest Boulevard, Douglas Boulevard, over to Post Road, Westheimer Road, 15th and 29th Street. You folks are right in the path.
Okay,
Kelsey
Mike.
Angle also is live on the phone. Let's take Kelsey. Kelsey, do you have us? Kelsey Angle?
Passing Tinker Air Force Base, the funnel entered the southeastern corner of Del City. Even though the tornado had shrunk considerably, it still packed a punch, shredding homes, causing ground scouring, and debarking trees. 6 residents were killed here.
It believes it's going to hit the diagonal runway, and I don't know I believe a lot of the engineering and stuff is between the diagonal and the other runway that runs north and south. That may get hit, Mike, but we're sitting right here with it. You're seeing it as we're seeing it. Still, it's on the ground. Transformers are still blowing up. We're just watching the lights of the city just disappear, Mike, as we're flying along here.
It is it's within a mile due south of the City Hall in Midwest City. Within a mile, probably due south of the City Hall on 44th or 29th Street Southeast.
A couple of intersections are now closed down. Fire shutting these down, likely caused by the lightning there. 119th and South Penn, 134th and Southwestern. Those intersections are going to be shut down. Folks, a lot more intersections will be shut down. Mike, if I could, real quickly, I do want to talk about another tornado warning that's just been issued. Folks that live in southern Alfalfa County, that's northwestern Oklahoma, that is in effect until 8:15. So folks that live near the Helena area, Goltry, the prison up in that area, also eventually over towards Jet Nash, we're talking about northwest Oklahoma, under a tornado warning in the southern section of Alfalfa County until 8:15. Mike?
Let's go back to Jim Gardner here live. Jim, it looks like it's still very large, still on the ground.
Very large. I had to roll around there, Mike. Yeah, you can see they're exploding. The transformers it's still on the ground. It's just eating land just right and left, Mike. I mean, it's just incredible.
It's still turning more to the left, and as it turns to the left, it takes it deeper into Midwest City. And folks, we are talking about potentially, it looks to be an F4 tornado, winds over 200 miles an hour near Southeast 29th and Sooner Road currently. If you live along Southeast 15th, Reno Avenue, from Sooner over to Air Depot, Midwest, Douglas Boulevards. You folks, you have the possibility of having a large tornado go through your area. So you need to be in your safe spot now. Dan had an excellent point on putting the kids in their winter coats.
I smell gas.
Chopper 4 smells gas at his flight level.
Mike, we're right just now on the west side of Jim. There's just a strong odor of natural gas. I mean, it's so bad I can't hardly breathe here. We're at 2,000 feet, which puts us about 1,000 feet above the ground, and it's starting to get stifling up here. We're moving out, but there's significant gas leaks somewhere around here, Mike. It's just, we're going to have to probably fly out of here in a minute.
There is so much debris down there. Folks that are traveling down there, you will probably get a flat tire. So, and that should be the least of your concerns, but you do not want to be down there at all. You stand to get flat tires and everything else. You need to let the emergency crews do their jobs down in Midwest City, Tinker Air Force Base, Moore, and Newcastle. This is a terrible situation.
Another tornado warning just issued. We talk about the storms in northwest Oklahoma. We've been talking about the storms in the metro area. This is another storm moving back into the southwest sides of town in northern sections of Grady County. So those of you that live in El Reno and Yukon, I know we're talking about the storms that are in the metro area, but down to your south in northern sections of Grady County near the Minco area, the National Weather Service has just issued a new tornado warning. So folks, we're talking about 3 separate areas. Tornado warning for northern Grady County. That storm is going to continue to move to the northeast. It's closest to a tiny town called Pocasset. We'll watch that closely. Storms continue on the ground in the metro area, in the Midwest City area right now, and another tornado warning in effect for northwest Oklahoma. So we're watching 3 separate storms, northwest Oklahoma, northern Grady County, and the storm going on in the metro area right now. Mike, this is an incredible situation. The storm in the metro area, the strongest and the one that is on the ground right now.
And sometimes these ones trailing back behind will track along the same boundary that was left down by the first one. So there's a possibility a new tornadic cell could be coming into the metro. You folks in northern Grady County, of course, extremely serious tornado warning. Jim Gardner live in Chopper 4. Also Jeff, one of our forewarned storm trackers in Tinker Air Force Base. Go ahead. Jeff, go ahead. Jim Gardner live in Chopper 4. Jim, tell us what you see right now. What's your location?
Well, Mike, you hit it. You hit it right on the head there. It did turn left. It missed Tinker completely, but it went right across the north end of the diagonal runway, and it almost just like made a turn there, and is going straight north now from what we're seeing. It appears to have dissipated a lot, Mike. It appears to be losing some of its force, but there's still a lot of lightning out here, and we're looking around here, there still look like a lot of potential of another tornado forming here anywhere.
Okay, let's stay with Jim Gardner's picture. Let's go with one of our storm trackers, Jeff. He is at Tinker Air Force Base. Jeff, go ahead.
Yeah, Mike, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Go ahead.
Yeah, Mike. We follow tornado.
After 3 more fatalities, the twister would finally let up, weakening to a point where only minor damage would occur for another quarter mile. For Bridge Creek, Moore, and Oklahoma City, their nightmare had finally ended. However, the storm continued on and dropped 3 more tornadoes, an F2, F0, and an F1. Several other storm systems that day produced devastating tornadoes which changed lives and destroyed property. In total, 63 twisters touched down that day.
.318, 430.
For Moore, it would not be the only F5 to hit their area. On May 20th, 2013, an EF5 would level a large section of Moore and at one point cross the exact area where the May 3rd tornado had hit 14 years prior.